Okay, so for soccer, you're just going to do your typical Swedish. So oil on. A lot of oil on when you have a guy. Forgot with working with the girls. Okay, most of the work that we're going to be doing is into the hips and that. Now, he's really cold here in this area. His back, though, is no problem. There's no problem with heat or anything in there. As I kind of just warm up the body and get into even the Swedish, he's a little tight in the shoulders. He's tight in the scaps a little bit too. And you can tell as I'm rocking him, his body, like his hips are moving, but his upper chest doesn't want to move quite as easy. So now that should mean to you guys that that's where he's starting to hold his energy, his tension. Now to warm up the muscles, of course, we have to go a little bit faster and okay. So it's up to you how long you're going to spend on the back, because the upper torso isn't really the main issue. The arms aren't the main issue for soccer. It's hips and legs. So we're going to start warming up the hips. Because they have to be warm to be able to move any of those muscles in there and get them to soften up. And it is good to move to different parts of the body when you're trying to warm something up, is just, again, move to different areas so the body doesn't know quite what you're doing. Okay. So that's all I'm going to do on his back, and then we're going to get right into the hip area. So you're going to cover them up, and you're going to work it now through. You'll just adjust it. Okay, so you're going to work through the sheet and warm up the hip area. And again, you're going to find different muscles for a guy compared to a girl. They're going to feel very different, if you haven't noticed that already in all your other massages. Okay. Once the body starts to move easier, like you can tell that it's starting to move a little bit easier, you kind of know that you're able to kind of get in there a little bit deeper too. So if you think about where, if you were playing soccer, so running, right, there's lots of running, and then you have to go and kick the ball, right, so you're going to be on one leg at one time to be able to kick the ball, and they do it with both feet, and then they can kind of dribble the ball even with their feet till they, want to get to wherever. So it's a lot of running and a lot of, one leg, the other leg. So it's a lot of leg work that we're going to be working on, and try to get it relaxed. And the hips, because the hips are going to be where all the carrying the weight of the person while they're moving from one foot to the other. And then here in your guys' papers, you're going to see it says it gets into the trochanter, so the thigh bone that inverts into the hip bone. So you want to kind of work the glutes a little bit more. And breathe if you have to, in case he's actually not too bad in here. A little bit up in here, but the lower part's not too bad. You can feel as I touch the thigh that there's a little bit there, but. And you can start seeing as I'm working it starts to move easier and easier and easier, and that's what we want. Okay. So now we're going to start working. Okay, so you might have to breathe in case it gets painful too, okay? So we're just going to work it now down. Again, lean on that table. Okay, breathe. Breathe. Hitting now into the side, right? Because that's gallbladder meridian and shiatsu and getting into the IT bin and all that. So he flinched is why I backed off. So give him a little love so that he doesn't, tense up. Because if he tenses up, I can't relax that muscle. So we're going to try again. What I'll try then is I'll instead of just my hand, I can move into also the forearm. Okay, breathe. Because I know that already was a sore spot. So then have your client breathe. Okay, we're also going to work this way a little bit, okay? So we'll... Now, if you do know table shiatsu, I would probably get into some moves with that too. Yeah, there you go. And you'll feel it. You'll feel when the muscle lets go. Okay, so from there then what I would do is I'm going to move over now to the other side and do the other. Okay, so being a guy, you're going to need lots of oil because of the hair. The hair is going to absorb the oil. So if you need more, just put some more on. And again, got to warm it up. I'm going to put a pillow underneath his ankles. There you go. Of course, you could do it before you put the oil on, but if you forget, just put it on after. And that's just so that when I press, because a man, of course, has larger feet in that, I don't want to hurt his ankles, right? So I don't want to be pushing on his ankles. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so we got to warm this up. He's a little cold in here. He's not bad. I mean, he's cold down here, and here's probably normal temperature. He's not bad if thinking, I'm just doing it, exaggerating it a little, but actually today his calves are pretty good. His thighs are tight. So I'm going to have to warm that up and then we'll work that. Because if I do this, see how I can't go in as deep? Like here, it pushes really good. And here, it kind of bounces me off like a trampoline, kind of. So I want to warm that up and so that muscle will relax. And because I need to be able to move to warm them up, I do need a little bit of oil on there, because if not, I'll just catch, right? Like I'll stick to them and I can pull hair, and I don't want to do that, so I need to be able to move. Now, some of the other oils, like grapeseed, and that is a little too slippery, and some of the oil, like some of them are way too slippery. Some of them are too thick. So when I'm doing a massage where I actually want to feel them a little bit more and I want to get into the muscles more, I need a thin oil. So the holly seems to be nice and thin, like it's a thin texture, so that I can still feel the muscles and the glide isn't too bad. So I got to warm them up. It's not until you know that you can move that muscle, until that muscle feels warmer, there's nothing you can do. So again, if you're going to use hot stones or the heating pad, but the heating pad would have been here while I was working on his glutes, right? So you don't want to do it now and waste time. And then I'd have it maybe here while I'm doing the thigh area. Yeah, it's tight. Okay, just about ready. I guess what I'm also waiting for when I'm warming them up is I need the muscle be a little pliable. Like it wasn't pliable at all. And so I'm waiting for it to, yeah, see, like now it's at least moving a little bit easier for me. And so the blood now is coming to this area and it's, you know, doing its work. And then I can stretch this muscle, because this is what we're going to do, is try to stretch this muscle out and you know, move it a little easier. So, okay, we're going to get into deep palmar. Again, if you have to, breathe for me. So I'm going to just do it lightly at first. I'm probably about a 5-pound pressure. Okay, and it is moving easy, like it's not stopping me like it has, and you know, like you'll see in the other massages where sometimes the hand just doesn't want to move as easy. So it is letting me through. So now we'll go a little deeper and see what happens there. So I'm just now, instead of using more this part, I'm gonna now go into this part. Okay. And of course, yeah, okay. He flinched and the muscle moved underneath me. So it's not quite ready for the deep. So superficial was okay, but the deep's not. So again, whatever you have to do to warm it up, and any of your Swedish moves will help warm up that muscle. Okay, breathe. And the rocking, you know, like when, I know a lot of people don't use a lot of rocking, but it also gives a time in between where I'm still keeping him warm, but he now isn't in pain and the muscle can have a chance again to relax, right? Because pleasure, the nerves to pleasure are faster than the nerves to pain. And so if I can make sure that he also doesn't feel too much pain, then he'll relax a little bit better too. Okay, so I'm going to try going in again. Yeah, see, he's flinched again. This time, though, not quite as bad, so I'm just going to move it and see if the body will let me just, you know, continue going. The other one was a lot of a, like it was a big flinch, where this one wasn't quite so bad. And so what I'm doing here is, you can kind of see as I was obviously pushing with both hands to get that pressure, because one hand I can't get quite the same pressure as I can with both. And I am leaning on the table. Most of my weight, though, I am going to try to put more on the heel of my hand as I come down. And again, underneath, you can feel it flinching a little. Wasn't quite like what happened in the one video there, and that where I had said it kind of feels like it was vibrating underneath. This one, you can kind of just feel the muscle just moving a little bit underneath as it kind of is trying to work with me. But again, the flexibility isn't quite there. So what's happening is that as I'm pushing down and it's kind of giving it a little bit of a stretch, the body's going, hold on, I'm not ready for this. Like what are you trying to let me, you know, what do you want me to do? And then what will probably happen again in one of those videos is when the leg just let go. That can happen in this too. The body will go, oh, is that what you want? Okay, fine. You know, and it will just let go. The hair really does suck up oil, so. Now I'm going to go just a little bit harder across. It does say a deep palmar glide, but I'm going to do it first just with a fist. Now my leg is on the table again supporting me so that I can actually get in there for some leverage. Okay, now we're going to move into some elbow work. So you can go with a little bit of the hand, it's just the light, and then go into forearm, working your way into elbow. Breathe. Interestingly enough, my elbow can glide really easy on them. So, yeah. Now, do you see how all of a sudden it's pushing in? The trampoline isn't quite so hard, kind of thing. So I could feel that all of a sudden as my elbow went on this one, and I knew that it was going to be softer all of a sudden. Just be careful around the knee. So really the work is the elbow. The other part of the hand I wasn't really putting pressure on. Okay, just now get back into the beating, pounding. And then the last thing that we're going to do is work the outside here. So I'm going to just start with a kind of a fast warm up, and then I'll slow it down for a glide. You just pick it right up. Yeah, just come right over there. Breathe. Now I can feel it in here that he has a little bit of a tense muscle in there too. So as I go down, I'm just going to push a little bit more on that one area. Breathe. Right there, I'm going to push. Good. Okay, and then I'm just going to, effleurage it, give it a little bit of lymphatic drainage, and just a little bit of pleasure.